Am I still streaming? I genuinely wait. I wanna see this. Okay, good, it worked. Okay. Hey, what's up guys? Jack here with MTS and
Good to see you didn't break your stream.
let's bring that music way the heck down. So I hit my start stream macro. That's the button I pressed that starts streaming to YouTube. And then I should have pressed my intro sequence button. So that took a second to figure out. I'm like, Nate, you want to see some automation?
That's some good automation there. Only 10 clicks or something, you know? You got to start the stream yourself. You got to change the program yourself. That's some good automation, you know?
Oh, hang on. You're not going to be able to get this, but
That's good beans.
I have a button that's a clip of basically homeless going, "That's good beans."
You know, I was...
Do you want to be able to listen?
I would love to. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you have a second one.
There you go, bud.
Oh, well, thank you. It's not weird at all.
No, this is gonna be a great stream, guys. Oh yeah, here. So this is the button.
That's good beans.
So I was listening to him last night, and it was really weird because I had a bunch of his YouTube videos open. I guess he got married or something.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And so it's not, I don't remember how I came out.
You just like
I know, but I
hook
like
that
this.
in your
It's
ear.
a lot better.
Okay, looking like a DJ over here.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, gotta get the. But I know I was talking.
Hey, what's up, Jordan?
Talking with some friends, Minecraft. Well, first time I played in forever. Yeah, new mod pack, 116. He's like, oh yeah, you should show me all the. Oh yeah, I was showing him download more RAM because he thought it was a virus or something, and he's like, oh, that's a lot of tabs you got. So I went through all my tabs and I had like 10 of those open, and that hurts your reputation a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to talk up. This is the audio level. I'm sitting at -15. You're sitting at like -35.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't do audio work, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Audio dude. Okay, guys. So on the agenda for today, I got some of Ubiquity's Wi-Fi 6 stuff. I've had one of their access points, two of them actually, for a while, but yeah. So I'm gonna be comparing them, doing a video about that. And so with the U6 Lite here, this access point is kind of a bit of a tricky thing to analyze here, because you could compare it to the Nano HD, which is, you know, the same size. So is the APAC Lite that this replaces. So it's like, what do I compare it to? Well, how about I compare all three together and then also compare it against my tried and true APAC Pro here. So that's the idea for that video. I'm going to be putting my money where my mouth is, because I still don't believe that Wi-Fi 6 makes a lick of difference in the home. Now, in the business world, I think we can all agree that Wi-Fi 6, being able to address multiple devices at the same time, is kind of important, because, you know, with density, stuff like schools, stuff like conference centers, office buildings, they can take advantage of that. But in the home, when you maybe have 20 devices and, you know, you might be only using like 3 or 4 of them at a time, it's like, I don't know. But in the testing video for that, we'll answer those questions. All right, Jack, do you mind if I ask a question about some Ubiquity gear? I recently purchased some, and I was wondering if it was enough for the average English house. Yeah, ask away. What gear do you have, and how big is your house? All I really need to know is square footage.
Because everyone knows that off the top of their head, right?
What, about their house?
Yeah, I know exactly how many square feet are in my house, right?
2,400. That's how big my house is. How much is big is yours?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, because I'm sure it's somewhere around there, you know, give or take a little bit, you know, plus or minus. I can't tell you.
Yeah, so what gear do you have? Because based on what gear you have, that'll tell me whether or not you have enough. Okay, so there's a company called Dune Case. And Dune Case makes a knockoff version of the Mac Pro case. Here, I can pull it up. If we go to Dune Case, and
is the Mac Pro the cheese grater?
Yes, it's the new cheese grater one. So if I come over here to my screen, oh, that's the wrong button to press. But once this thing loads up, which is gonna take forever, here we go. It's essentially a total knockoff of the Mac Pro case, aside from the Apple logo, and Yeah, this doesn't look very Mac Pro until you put on their what they call the Dice Y cover. And then, yeah, that's a Mac Pro. But it's a regular PC case. So it's like, all right, this is pretty cool. But on their Instagram, they said that they're doing a giveaway. I got an email saying that Dune Case is doing a giveaway. And I'm like, okay. And they say the clip giveaway. And I'm like, what's the clip giveaway? Well, they use clips to hold on different panels and different parts to the case. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Let me go take a look at that. So I take a look at it on their Instagram, and it says, who doesn't like a freebie? Everyone can get an extra set of clips for free with their purchase of Dune Pro. Offer ends March 1st. To pre-order, please visit our website, www.dunecase.com. And steps to qualify. Follow us, like and share this post on your story, tagging Dune Case, and you have to send them your contribution ID number from Indiegogo. So it's like, I'm sorry, what? I have to post this on my story to get these replacement parts. So up in the comments, you know, I went in there and I'm like, so you're telling me your case is flawed, and if I want replacement parts, I have to promote your flawed product. This is some BS. They got back to me and said, hi, the clips of Dune Pro are long-lasting and durable. Many of our backers asked for additional clips to be available, so instead of charging, we're giving them away for free. Clips will be available for purchase at a future point. Many thanks. To which anybody with a brain would, you know, respond the same way I did. If you include all the necessary clips with the purchase of the case, and these clips are not universal, so they can only be used with your product, why would anybody want more if the ones they have didn't break? So I don't know what this like marketing thing is that they're doing, but it's like the product department or whatever, the people in charge of PR got together and decided, hey, how can we have a PR stunt and fix our product at the same time? And it's like, what the heck are you doing? That's like the dumbest way to do a giveaway. Like, you know, I like some of Apple's products, some of their products, but at the same time, I hate them as a company. But my display the other day on my iPhone 10 was doing a weird thing where it was getting phantom touches. It was thinking I was pressing buttons and stuff on it that I wasn't pressing. And so I contacted Apple, told them what was going on, and the guy's like, yeah, we actually have a repair program out for this right now, this very issue, so your repair should be free. And I'm like, sweet. They sent me a box. I just got it. It's on the floor over there to ship my product back and stuff, and they were going to replace it. So imagine if Apple, if for me to get a replacement for my phone, I had to then go out and promote the flawed product. Like, complain about Apple for what you will, but hey, at least they're taking accountability for, you know, some poor engineering decisions.
So I guess question on that, on the case here, do you know if they include any extra? Well, I guess you said in your post there they don't include any extra clips in the purchase.
I would assume they would include like an extra one or two, but it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if enough people are asking that you're willing to do a giveaway on this part, it's probably something that's a bigger issue, and you should just give away the replacement parts for free because you designed a flawed, non-durable product. It's like, I don't know. Although Apple did do some BS where they weren't replacing, you know, iPhone 6s that have had the Bendgate issue, you know, where Unbox Therapy essentially took a phone and went, yeah.
I don't know. It's probably going to take just about as much time as the butterfly keyboard issue some of our computers have.
You know you made a great product when the day you release it, you already have a repair program out for it. 2019 MacBook Pro.
Didn't they put out a new Mac at some point, a laptop, even after they were aware the issue was present in that keyboard design?
Yes, multiple for following years. And then, like I said, you know you designed a great product when the day you release it, you already have a repair program out for it. It's like, what the heck are you thinking? Although I do have a MacBook with the butterfly keyboard. Keep in mind they did go back to the old style keyboard like my 2015 has here, which I love this keyboard. Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's Apple. What are they gonna do? I have a question. What do you use to calculate how much I should lower my AP's broadcast power to so they don't overlap too much? I have an AP-AC Pro upstairs in my home and the ACLR downstairs. I will get the square foot now. I have, I'm getting U6 LR delivered today as my AP-AC Pro, and all of my devices on it have been experiencing major issues with the ACLR. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the LR access point because, yeah, it can transmit a lot of data, so your phone can receive that data, but your phone's antenna isn't necessarily strong enough to get it back to the antenna if you're at kind of like that edge zone. So it's like, okay, it's kind of dumb. I don't really like that access point.
Yeah, you really don't want to get them started on that one. I personally have an ACLR in my house on the top floor, third floor, and it's always a wonderful discussion point between me and Jack here every time we're discussing APs.
Yeah. He really likes the LR, and I just hate it as an access point, which is difficult for when I'm doing I've been doing the testing on the LR access point. It's like, okay, I have a very strong bias against it, but this new one is pretty good. Probably is a total floor area of 1,200 square feet. Okay, so for about 1,200 or 1,300 square feet, I would do probably 1 or 2 access points, depending on your flooring. I would always do a separate access point on each floor of the house. But yeah, so if you have a 1,200 square foot house, you should probably be able to get away with 1 access point on each floor, or if it's all on one floor, you can get away with probably the Wi-Fi 6 version of the LR access point.
I guess another point of that, I don't know if you mentioned this as well, is it is important how many floors you have in your house. There's a lot of, I could say definitely from my experience, if you have 2 floors, you might be able to get away with just 1 access point on the top floor.
Yeah, you can get away with it, but for me, it's just one of those things that's like,
No.
I don't want to have to run into an issue when it costs me not very much more money to go ahead and just put in another access point. And if you can't cable it, like if it's an old English style house, like I don't know how old your home is, but if you don't have an easy way to cable from like the upstairs to the downstairs or get your cables everywhere, Ubiquity's Beacon HD is actually really cool. It's their range extender, and you just plug it in and it works. Hang on, I feel like seizing for just one moment. Nate, keep people company.
Oh, wow. What are you doing? Oh, you broke the thing. Good job. Yeah, so I guess the I don't know what you call this. What do you call this thing?
That's the receiver.
The receiver, thank you. Yeah, I don't do any audio work. I am strictly IT. This is a little outside of my forte here. So I'm glad you can assist me with all of my inadequacies. And I don't even know which side these go in. Are these labeled somehow so you know which ear they're supposed to go in?
This is yours, this is mine. This goes in your right ear.
Well, I'm
This
glad you
goes
know.
in the left ear.
I still don't know how you know. But...
Because they only fit in one ear.
Oh, and I see the R on it now.
Oh, do they actually have labels?
Oh, they do, right there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not on the...
Yeah, that's just the cable. Yeah, so if it was, problem with the LR access point is clients need a good antenna to be able to, yeah, exactly. They need a good antenna to be able to send the data back to them. Constructed in 1983 through 1990, yeah, so for that, if it's 1 floor, you can get away with probably 1 access point. If it's 2 floors, again, I would do 2 access points, 1 per floor. And you could either do 1 of the LR Wi-Fi 6 access points or 2 of the Wi-Fi 6 lights. So, yeah, that's just what I would recommend there. Along with this access point, I also got, if you don't care about hearing, we don't need this.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I guess it is very interesting to hear myself talk with a bit of a delay.
Yeah, I've had to get used to that.
Do you measure, so as he said there, do you measure really the signal output at all between?
No.
Okay.
I set everything to auto, and it usually works. Like, I'll set channels, but transmit power, I just leave at auto, and usually it works. I'm actually going to be doing video and audio is out of sync. Look, I know, okay? I can't really do much about that right now. I calculated it out, so the audio should be delayed by 150 milliseconds, which for when I'm recording works great. But when streaming, I don't have a way to test that. So, do you hear me before or after you see me? So, is the audio too early or is the video too early? So, let me know on that one. So this is like my really nice fiber cable that I got. It has, you know, the 2 fiber pairs, or the pair, and then it converges into 1 cable. Well, this cable that I got from Ubiquity, one of their patch cables, is the same thickness. So it's
hold
like,
that up so you can see it a little better.
yeah, like
It's kind of blurry.
These
There you
look,
go.
I can't really focus this. So the cables are the same thickness, yet this one only has to have 2 glass strands in it. This one has to have 8 wires in it, and you can feel, like, when you like pinch this cable and move it around a little bit, you can feel that there's dead space in this cable. So how tiny are the wires in this?
How much was that cable?
$6, I think.
You know, I'm really tempted to get one myself because that does not feel right. I do not like how that feels at all.
Yeah.
It feels like there's probably about half the space in here is used. It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know what you could do over this. But
Especially with this cable being already really thin. Like, here's my professional like mic cable essentially, but that's Ethernet. Let me grab the end. Here's a thickness comparison, kind of. This cable's about 5 times thicker. And this cable has the same amount of wires minus a ground, and I don't know what compromises they're doing. I don't know if this is copper clad aluminum. Audio too early. Okay, we'll offset this by 300 milliseconds. Advanced audio properties, audio delay, 300 milliseconds. Cool. And let me know if that fixes the issue.
So, are you able to pull that up just out of curiosity?
Pull
Because
what up?
the cable, I am very curious if that is even Cat 5 rated.
Yeah.
Well, I should say Cat 5 is very forgiving. Cat 5, Cat 5e or Cat 6.
Yeah, so if you come over to it's under accessories, cables. They're patch cables in various lengths. This is the cable that I got, the 8-meter black. Oh, they have the white one in
They're
stock.
Cat 6 rated?
Apparently, but it's like, okay, this
Wait, do
cable
these
is
bend?
so incredibly. Oh yeah, here,
Oh.
look at that.
Oh.
The ends are like have like a metal reinforcement thing to it. Hang on, let me focus the camera. Focus, thank you. And yeah, you can like bend this, which I mean that's kind of cool, but
It's definitely interesting, especially for a patch panel.
yeah. So that's kind of one of those weird
740.
things.
It's a lot for a cable.
Yeah, so I bought this cable because it got me over the limit, so that way I could get the free shipping. So that's why I got the cable. But my Ethercon port here in my desk, I can just go, boop, and then I can plug it into an access point and power it up for testing. So yeah, I've got a lot of networking happening here at my desk. And speaking of cables, I got some new cables here. So I've talked about this Aria Live cable before. I love this cable. It's shielded Cat 6, and it's got Ethercon on one end, convertible Ethercon. Keep in mind though, these converter shell things are garbage. But I hacked this end off of it, put a regular termination on it, ground lifted it at both ends, so it's a fully shielded 9-wire cable now, which is great for doing audio stuff. And I put a regular termination on here, so that way I can use it with access points and computers. And this cable lays like mic cable. So you throw it out and it stays in place. It doesn't bulge up. It doesn't like, you know, traditionally when you throw out a cable, you have like parts of the cable like not laying flat on the ground. This doesn't have that problem. But I was comparing it to some other cables and I'm like, well, yeah, this stage grade cable wins. That's like trying to find the best SUV and you're comparing, you know, an Acura, a Toyota Highlander, and a Bentley. I wonder which one's gonna win. So I had to get something else to compare it to make sure that it wasn't just the stage grade cable that won, and it was this cable overall. So I went to Elite Core and picked up another one, and they put my logo on it. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see that, but focus. Focus, dirty camera, but yeah, they put my logo on it. I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Is that just heat shrunk on there, or how'd they do that?
It's custom labeled heat shrink.
Ooh, that's
So
fancy.
this is heat shrink. So my logo's printed on heat shrink, and then they put a clear piece of heat shrink on top of it.
Ah, that's very interesting. I didn't know you could print on heat shrink.
And with them, they also have the option to leave like a clear, untreated or unshrunk piece of heat shrink on the cable. So that way, if you have like an inventory system where you want to like throw a label on the cable, and then you can put the heat shrink on to protect that label. It's really cool. It's a really nice cable. It's not as flexible as the Aria Live cable, but it is already, out of the box, ground lifted at both ends. So that's nice, because I had to re-terminate the Aria Live cable to be ground lifted at both ends. But yeah, so those are my new cables, and I'm going to be using them in this testing video. I got a Wi-Fi 6 card for my computer, but I don't exactly want to be moving around my computer to every room of the house. So instead, by just having long Ethernet cables, I'm going to move the access points to the different rooms in my house to get the distance.
So here's a question for you, Jack. I honestly have not really followed the Wi-Fi standard since WPA came out, WPA 3 came out, and I consider that a bit of a failure.
It's part of Wi-Fi 6.
Okay, yeah. So I know it was part of that. So I guess what are all the major changes that they have made as part of that?
I hate you for asking me about that because I don't fully know.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
Well, one of the biggest thing is that it can address multiple devices at the same time. So like, Wi-Fi 802.3 AF, that's PoE. 802.11 AC can address one device at a time. So, but when you have multi-user MIMO, it can address, I believe that means I can address, this is a 3 ME MIMO device, so I believe this can address 3 devices at the same time. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. I'm not the smartest person on these issues, okay? But with Wi-Fi 6, it can address multiple clients at the same time.
Interesting.
So that should be the differences, the key differences. So yeah, I can't wait to see the comments on this to see how wrong I am. Okay, channels are split. I'll just leave it on audio. Yep, audio's too early, I think. Audio's early. I didn't get a notification. Well, then turn on notifications for my channel. Come on, Diamond.
Click the bell icon and subscribe, right?
I was thinking about having the subscribe button as a thing I could, animate over top of my video. But
you gotta have that little bell thing all the YouTubers have nowadays,
Hang on, I want to see if I can add stuff. There are certainly flat Cat 6 cables, but Wi-Fi 6 is still half duplex. Yes.
Oh, it's half duplex.
Yeah. Flat cables cannot be Cat 6. Part of the standard requires the twist. Yeah. That's why you can't get really long flat cables. Hang on, I want to try and see if I can bring in my subscribe button here.
And that is a really good point. Yeah, that the Cat 6 does require the twist in there up to the last inch, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I think I'll have to buy one of those cables and slice off the end to see what's inside of it.
Yeah, although, see, I get away with doing it without that type of stuff. I'll have like 2 or 3 inches where I don't have twists and stuff. I don't run into problems with that. But then again, I'm not doing this a lot. Hang on, I gotta convert the media queue to a slide element. Edit slide. Oh, this video action is incredibly large. I think I broke it. Okay, that should be it. Okay, wait, does this work? It does! It does! I can do a real-time subscribe. Oh, and it's looping. Okay, we're gonna... Nope. I'm not... I did not want to... No. Edit slide. Edit slide element. We've broken things. We've broken things.
A little bit too much.
I don't know what I'm doing. Pro presenter, stop. Add media action. How do I... Add go to next timer. 5. Okay, here. Does this do it?
No. Oh?
Kind of. Okay, so we're not gonna have a subscribe button in my stream. Jack, you need to learn more about Wi-Fi. Look, you need to learn more about Wi-Fi. Yeah, I know. I know, I really need to learn more about the standards and stuff. But for me, Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. Like Wi-Fi 6, the speeds have caught up to USB 2 essentially. It's like Yay! We have a wireless standard for a cable standard that's been obsolete for 10 years.
I'm trying to think here. What is I guess the previous version of Wi-Fi rated for? Isn't it like 100 something megabits?
I don't actually recall. But in my testing that I've done so far, my preliminary testing, I've had some decent speed increases by about 10%. Wait, does this work? Oh, we don't want that. Yeah, it works. It works. Okay, so I have my computer now patched into the live stream, so I can do some fun stuff like. I don't know, dumb stuff that I was playing around with earlier.
Very intriguing.
I love ProPresenter. ProPresenter is great. Looks like Matt Telecom took your advice on thumbnails from your last stream. Wait, did he? Hang on, I want to go to Cody's channel here.
So what did he do?
He did. Look at his thumbnails. I know I'm not subscribed to him on my personal account. Now I am, but I am on my main account. Yeah, he took. I talked about thumbnails, and I'm like, look, Cody, I love you, man, but the thumbnails, it's like I wouldn't click on that if I didn't know it was your video. Like, that very clearly stands out as a Mac Telecom Networks video, which I know has good information, therefore I would click on it. But if I didn't know who he was, I wouldn't click on it. And yeah, no, that's actually pretty funny. Love you, Cody. Thank you. He actually, I was having some issues with the Wi-Fi 6 stuff, and I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, man, this kind of stinks. Have any suggestions? And he recommended that I change some of the channel settings and things. So I'm going to include that in my video, but thank you very much to Cody. He did, he really helped me out there. Yes, I did. Oh, he's in the chat. What's up, Cody? That's loud, lol. I know. I can bring it down. Nate.
Yes.
Would you care to talk about any of... Nate and I were talking before on the stream, before we started here, about some SAN things that he's been looking into. Would you care to talk about that?
Oh, well, I definitely can. While I'm definitely not necessarily 100% qualified to talk about any of these, for a relative's business of mine, I recently installed a new server for them, a hypervisor host, to run a couple things they need for remote work and some of the on-site stuff as well. I transitioned them from a wonderful Windows workgroup to Active Directory, all those wonderful things. And as part of my current job elsewhere, I was thankful and had the wonderful experience of having a hypervisor host go down and the failover take over it. I have to say it was absolutely wonderful, and I don't know how I haven't put that up yet somewhere. Pretty fun. So on that, I kind of started looking into SANs and failovers and those types of things for servers and whatnot. So the particular thing I started looking into was HP makes some really nice, they're called microservers. I believe they're kind of old, but they're very small form factor. I think 1 foot by 1 foot. I don't know if you're pulling one up here.
Yeah.
Not the best specs, but they're pretty good for a storage server. Or in this case, I was looking at who was the company? Who was the company that I mentioned? Starwind.
Yeah.
So they make some. We have some of their rack mount servers, and they have all their software pre-installed, so you can do them. You make them into a cluster. What is that?
vSan stuff, so you can do.
Yeah, so that's ESXi.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, that's a lot of images that aren't loading.
So I was looking into getting a couple of these and throwing them into a cluster. It's kind of like a data failover thing, as SANs are designed to be. Again, I'm not too qualified to look in or to speak on this. I've actually really only had so far about a year of professional IT experience. Yeah, I definitely found these very interesting. What are you doing?
this. Hang on. So yeah, I have a little Synology down here, and I was talking to him about potentially doing some Synology stuff. Fun fact, whenever I use the NDI camera on my phone here, it does not have the ability, it doesn't actually use like my phone's image stabilization or any of that. So you get the raw camera output, which is garbage. So I need another solution, but this is just how I do my quick little show you something that the main camera can't see.
Oh yeah, didn't you say you shouldn't leave those outside by the
Yeah,
way?
yeah. So I deployed this in my garage just so, because I don't have a fast enough internet connection right now to be able to do real-time offsite backup. So my new place, I will. That's been difficult trying to figure that stuff out though. But so at my new place, I'll have a fast enough internet connection to have a real-time offsite backup. But yeah, so I figured, hey, at least get this in a different part of my house, my backup. So my main server's down in my basement, and then this guy just lived out in my garage. Hey, if there's a fire in the house, hopefully the garage won't burn down, and if it does, potentially I could run out and grab it. I have no idea, but so yeah, it kept shutting down because it was too cold out there. In Missouri here, we get almost Canadian weather every now and then. So on one day it'll be like 50 degrees out, the next day it'll be -2. That Synology did not like that.
Yeah.
So I had to bring it inside because it kept going offline, and then like all of my backup jobs were just like, oh, we don't know what to do.
Yeah, what did we had, I think it was last week, we had something like 6 inches of snow, right?
Yeah. Hey, domain migrations. Oh, speaking of backups, I've been working on this project called, I'm calling it JackSync, because why not? So I figured I'd show you this code. I have the front end done for it, but I'm still looking at doing the actual commands for handling backups. So this is essentially a quick little backup script that I want to essentially have a GUI for backing up stuff with Robocopy. So if I start it up here, with JackSync running, we can click source. We can find one of my folders. So say I want to back up my... Let's not do my desktop.
Olympia. Backup Olympia.
I can't find it. Why is it only showing me my desktop?
Go to this PC. Sometimes it does.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so if I want to pick a source, I could back up my videos folder to... where's my FootClan drive? I could back up that folder to FootClan here, hit OK, and then I would hit run. And run currently does nothing, but I have a configuration button here, and that does nothing. And when you minimize it, I was proud of this, you minimize it, it goes to the tray icon. And then you bring it back. Oh, and I can also, so it's my videos folder and then the F drive. If I close out of it, I can then rerun it, and it saves my settings. So right now, I just need to figure out the back end of how do I get that to interface with Robocopy. And that's what I've been dealing with.
You know what? I will have to send you something. So I was looking into Robocopy because the same place where we had that Hyper-V host fail, we're moving all of their backups off of a USB drive to a rack mount Synology. Quite a wonderful transition. And I was unaware that Robocopy had a packet rate limiter. I didn't know you could do that.
Robocopy is really powerful.
Yeah. But someone had designed, I guess, something that can work on top of Robocopy. I'll have to send you a link for it. And it will allow you... it's basically a newer version of Robocopy that's kind of built on the existing one. So it's got a GUI that you can come up with. They're really happy about how they have 200 plus switches for it and some other stuff. I'll have to send you a link.
Would you like some Tic Tacs?
I'd love some Tic Tacs. They even have little candy canes on them.
So here are some backup drives. We've got a 500 gig SSD. What's in this one? Another 500 gig SSD. A 1 terabyte hard drive that I ruggedized myself before I could actually afford rugged, nice drives.
Oh, that's a very nice one.
It's got a microfiber cloth with a bunch of tape wrapped on it, and then I cut it out to like mimic one of the LaCie drives or
But
whatever.
does that not have a case on it? Or is that a drive in a case?
This is a drive. This is an external hard drive that I just put a.
I wasn't sure if that was the case or just the drive.
That was the case for the drive.
Okay.
Isn't that the most jank thing you've ever seen? Yeah.
Very professional, just like you.
We don't use this drive anymore. I'd actually be curious to see what's on it still. But yeah, no. So I used to use a lot of external drives, and then I moved to storage servers. But except this. Which when I was doing all the video editing at school and stuff, it was nice to have external drives for projects to hand off between people, because a lot of the computers in our publications room to the server, our NAS that I had built for us, only had a 10100 connection to, so it wasn't really good enough. So we'd still use some external drives. This one says this drive probably shouldn't be used, and it's a USB 2 drive. So this is awful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Don't worry, I have more. This is a 750 gig drive. Then we got a 2 terabyte drive. Another 500 gig USB 3 drive. Another 2 terabyte. This I believe is a 500 gig or 1 terabyte in here.
Oh,
I ran out of
really
cases.
like those. Those are nice drives.
This is a 4 terabyte Western Digital drive. This is another 1 terabyte drive. And then I have an external drive here, like a big desktop one. But yeah, so these are all my old external drives. And I can happily say, none of these store any data that I actually care about. All that stuff gets stored on my servers. So these drives essentially get used for if I have a project I need to give to somebody, and for offloading media at an event before we bring it home. Because we keep the media on the cards, back it up to external drives, 2 drives, one for me to take home, one for whoever I'm working with to take home. Because in the event that I die in a car accident, we don't want that event to go to waste. So let's have the last thing I did on this earth actually get shown to people. So yeah, that's what these drives get used for. But yeah, so this is my bin of old storage.
Well, I actually have to run off now. I have I think it's 30-minute drive ahead of me here. So go replace some backup drives. Fun.
Yeah.
So wonderful being on your stream, of course.
Thank you very much for joining us, Nathan.
Even though I'm not very presentable on stream in the sorts.
You're looking more presentable than me.
I'm not camera friendly. There you go.
Yeah, you lived your life behind a camera. I live mine now, sadly, in front of it.
What can I say? I'm used to living in closets, so that's what us IT people do. Come knock on us and say hello once a week and make sure we're alive so we can fix your mouse.
If you're unaware of actually really who this man is, Nathan.
Yes?
Can you hold up my laptop and make those crazy eyes again?
Oh.
From the worst server room video. That's who Nate is.
Minus the hat, of course. I always wear a hat. It's a lucky day for you.
Yeah.
Where's
Thank you, Nate.
Yes, wonderful seeing you.
Thank you for lunch.
I'm glad you enjoyed your Chick-fil-A.
Did.
Everyone should get Chick-fil-A. I should be sponsored for Chick-fil-A, by the way. It's really good. See ya.
See ya, man. Thanks. We always love it when Nate comes around. All right, yeah. So that's been my backup program. That's some stuff that Nate's doing right now. Now let's see what's going on with you guys. I'm gonna come back into the chat here. Everybody says bye. Jack, are you making fun of your Canadian viewers? No, I am not making fun of my Canadian viewers. Although I think the greatest Canadian joke of all time is Justin Bieber is like the winter of seasons, He's like cute and fun at first, and then just gets annoying and should stay in Canada. So, thought that was a pretty good joke. But yeah, no, Canada's great. I'm actually looking to go up there for LTX whenever that happens next. Although, see, I don't really like big events. I like medium size to like smaller events, but now with LTX having, I don't remember how many people that they said they had last time, but it's just like, okay, this is when anxiety kicks in, so yeah. What up, Diamond? All right, yeah, HV's microservers, cool. There was one thing that I wanted to show you guys about, or tell you guys about. So, in my last stream, talked a lot about church stuff. Things kind of got off into a churchy tangent. I understand. I'm not making this video a church channel, but church is gonna get worked. It's gonna have its way worked in here every now and then, just in because that's my job. That's what I do. That's like my thing. So there's no way around that. But I will make sure that it relates to the content. And I don't know. I finished this audio project, and I think it turned out pretty good. So this is just the ending. This is the end hook for Real Love, and this was me essentially playing around in Logic for like 3 hours. I need to redo for the bridge section. I need to redo the drums just because I just duplicated the drums from the drops. So yeah, I don't know. That was just something I've been working on. Felt like I would share it with you guys. So here's why I believe that this channel has a right to be both an AV and a networking channel, because networking right now is taking over the production world. So before, I mean, you plugged your mics in, you plugged your cameras in, you called it a day. Then, people started doing live streaming, and everything's just been getting more and more network-based since then. My camera is the only thing that actually runs through a capture card here. Both my audio stays digital. The only thing I have connected to my laptop here is a network jack. So all of my audio, all of my other video sources happen over IP, which is sick because it makes it really easy to manage. So if I come into Dante controller here, oh, that's the chat. But if I come into Dante controller over here, this is how I do all of my audio routing. So Cotton Candy is the name of my desktop. So the Cube is the stream computer. iMac 9 is my laptop. Don't know why it's called iMac 9. And JMM is the Mac Mini downstairs. So the Mac Mini essentially is running as a clock for everything, keeping it all in sync. My desktop sends multiple audio channels to the Cube, to the streaming computer. It sends the computer's left and right audio, a secondary left and right audio, just in case there's a certain application that only outputs left and right, that I want to be able to control separately, volume-wise. 5 and 6 here aren't labeled, but they're used for Skype, so I can have a guest in the show here. And that sends that over to the stream computer. And then my laptop left and right is getting sent from iMac 9, which is, again, my laptop. So all of this is happening over the network. I don't have a single audio cable. The only actual real audio cable is coming out of my computer, or coming out of the stream computer, going to my wireless transmitter here for my ears. Everything else happens over the network, which I think is really cool. I'm going to turn off chat real quick. But yeah, everything else happens over the network. So from all my audio, my computer screen here gets sent through OBS. So OBS is set to scale to the frame size. So whether I have my screen being recorded at 1440p or 1080p, I just change my desktop resolution here. It'll fit it to the screen size and then output it over the network to my streaming computer. So that's how I'm doing everything. Everything is now IP based, which I love because it means things are super flexible. I can use cheap, inexpensive cabling, and I don't need a bunch of capture cards everywhere. I don't know if you can tell, but if my video borders like something that's white or a different color than black, you can see that there's a black row of pixels along the bottom of this camera's capture card feed. This capture card is hot garbage. So that's why it's doing some weird stuff. And then I really like using computers for live stream because I have so much stuff set up in OBS here. Like I would have to build a LUT for my camera, run it into a Blackmagic converter that can then apply the LUT to then output it to the video system in order to get my camera to look like this up at church into the big Ross video system that we have. But over here, I'm able to just come into my my filters and apply a LUT. So this is actually even more saturated than what it appears like on the back of my camera. But so first we're adding some contrast and a little bit of saturation, and then next we're applying a LUT to the whole image. So yeah, that's really where I see things getting super useful in the future, is when IP takes over everything, because it's such a powerful tool. When everything runs over the network, I mean DMX over the network, video over the network, audio over the network. That's AVL. That's your audio, your video, your lighting. It's like, what can't run over a network switch these days? And I don't know, some people that I've told about this think I'm defiling my cables, because I use my my Ethernet cables to send. I mean, it's 8 wires in a single cable. I use them as analog audio snakes, digital audio snakes, lighting control, video, everything. Like, I will run analog signals just over Ethernet because it's 8 wires. I can use it to power up LEDs, do a bunch of stuff, actual buttons. So I had buttons on my desk that could control and restart my server downstairs back when I had a really unstable server. And that was just tapped into the computer's power button. Yeah, now I actually I bought a pallet of these servers that I found on sale on eBay. They were advertised as FreeNAS servers, but I'm like, okay, I'll just run Unraid on them. So I bought 30 of them, I believe. We're on that pallet for $200 a pop. They were a great deal. They've got 2 6-core CPUs, 6-core 12-thread CPUs, I believe, 32 gigs of RAM. Like, they're not slouching machines, and they've got 12 drive bays. I sold one to the guys over where I did the Worst Server Room 2020 contest. That's actually a server I provided. I've been doing IT work for them for years, but I had no part in making that server room the mess that it was. So, yeah. No, but I have the same server running. Nate actually has one of those servers as well. Quite a few other companies. I don't have any more of those servers laying around. I have sold them all. They are all with clients. They all have beautiful homes now, except the Worst Server Rooms, which is still in a wooden server rack to the best of my knowledge. Which, I mean, hey, if that was a home environment, it'd be like more power to you. You're building your own rack. But in a business environment, when you have like your company running off of that server that's in a wooden server rack, it's... question has to be asked of, do you actually value your data? So I don't know, there have just been some dumb things that I've had to see. Yeah, yes, I recently moved and I found a super dusty Synology 6TB NAS with all my old PC files on it and an old version of Unify controller. Nice. DEF CON is probably the worst conference for anxiety. Not just how many people are there, but worried about getting hacked. Yeah. Project Unify rewrite is coming along slowly. Nice. This is the way. Yeah. Yeah, no, so there have been just so many just developing technologies. I love NDI, although the question has to be asked, if a 4K 60 signal has to be sent over an 18 gigabit per second HDMI 2.0 connection, how come I can send 2 of them over a 1 gig RJ45 cable? It's like, how much compression are you doing to that video? So it's a quality thing, but at the same time, it's like, well, the flexibility of being able to distribute that, do a bunch of virtual splits, send the signal everywhere you want to go. It's a nice thing to have. Sounds like they don't value their data at all. Well, okay. The guy that runs that company is actually a really nice guy. He's super chill. He went to my old church. That's how I know him. But yeah, no. So they're still in that wooden server, right? I actually have the switch, the that Dell Power Connect switch or whatever it was. That was the actual load bearing Ethernet switch. That was pretty fun. Hang on, I really want to pull up that video. I enjoyed that video. Worst server room 2020. Oh, that's just cut to me again. Jack screen. So we have the winners. I love Chris. He emailed me. He's just like, hey, yeah, so I got to like, we all know you're gonna win. Just like, where do you want me to send the prizes? I'm like, okay, here you go. Oh, but here we go. There I am. Where's my worst server room 2020 like introduction? Oh, here it is. Load bearing Ethernet.
Hey, Chris and Crosstalk. So we just got commissioned to clean up this small
Look at
businesses.
this. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is the server down here. I hate this and I love it at the same time. This is all copper clad aluminum cable. And like a bunch of it's running PoE. This is a nice Cisco switch. I really want this switch, but I have the newer version of it. Then we've got this rack mount PC here. Yeah, this is just a mess.
Basement.
Oh, don't you like this power cable that's like looped over the Ethernet cables? And this one pink cable that just goes up the pillar. It's just kind of painful to look at, but you gotta love it.
Server.
Yeah, so all these optiplexes here, I'm just gonna mute this. All these optiplexes here were their storage servers. So they were using this server down here as a essentially a backup for all of these computers that just had like external hard drives connected to them all over the place. And I'm like, no, you have a PoE injector just dangling. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this brings back nightmares. Yeah, this is not good. That jank patch panel work, it's like, okay, I respect that if that was a home user. Well, technically this was a home. This is a home video production house. It's a home that they converted into a studio. But yeah, it's like mounted on like wooden standoffs coming out of the wall. It's the weirdest thing ever. And here's the load-bearing Ethernet switch. I want to get a nice, crisp, clean image of this. So this switch is being suspended. The only thing keeping it from falling off of this shelf and that box of hard drives there is this single Ethernet cable. Like, I'm sorry, but how do you get this bad? Gosh, this is atrocious. This took us like 2.5 days to just pull back all the cables. We had to just cut them all off, re-terminate them at the upstairs distribution area. Because they all went to, so all these yellow cables, they all went down to a closet. And then there was a patch panel. And instead of having a switch there and then like a fiber cable to take it downstairs, they went to this patch panel and then there was another patch panel below and they were all just patched through to that panel and then sent down to the basement where the switch was. And I'm like, why? Just put a switch there and run a fiber line, which is exactly what we ended up doing. So yeah. Oh, here, let's come back to the video feed. Yeah, we've got all these external drives. And this genuinely was, oh, you can see my my mic stand case right there. This is their actual router. This is a wireless N router. If that tells you how old it is. And all of the power for all of this stuff comes from out of the room. They're not plugging it in the room. They've got cables just feeding into the rack. I mean, this thing is about as messy and broken as one can possibly get. Yeah, all the power comes from a fat power cable that ran outside the room into the whatever, the not storage area. I don't know how you describe that, but yeah, no, this was such a bad job. Yeah, this was fun. Cables going in there. This river of Ethernet. Oh, that's actually my cable. So we took down this computer we threw away a bunch of the cables. We took down this computer and we started working on this. And then I got the tweet. I read the tweet that Chris was doing worst server room 2020, and I'm like, Nate, we have to put this back. So we put it back like exactly how we found it. But this cable's mine here because I had thrown away the cable that went to it. So yeah, that's my cable. So we put the things back like exactly how we found them, and then just like pulled out my camera because I video document almost all of my jobs just in case something happens where the client's like, what did you do with this? What's the actual work you did? Blah, 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 blah. Tries to come back and say we did something. I always have a camera up in the corner, at least, recording us while we're doing a job. So that's why I have mic stand cases, because I just put my camera on a mic stand. And I just grab the camera and I'm like, Nate, we're recording this! Yeah, so that's how that came to be. And then you can see Nate here in a couple seconds. Oh yeah, that's a better look at that load-bearing Ethernet. Oh, this hurts me. This hurts me to see again. There's the wonderful Nate. Oh gosh. Hang on.
Along with that PoE injector. What do we think about this setup?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so that was our submission, and that's how I got started with my channel. Was I'm like, hey, this is actually kind of fun talking about stuff. Oh my gosh, Sony FX3. I've been waiting for this camera for like 2 months. I really want to get off of this and this stream and just watch that. But I want to see stuff about that. Oh. Speaking of cameras, Blackmagic released a new camera. I did a live stream about this. You all hated it. But Blackmagic, so the other night I had an idea for a project. I'm like, all right, I want to build a production box. So have an audio mixer, a video switcher, a display with my multi-view. The only thing I would need to have extra would be like a computer for like some music playback and actually maybe play some graphics into the system. Yeah. But with Blackmagic's ATEM mini switcher, which Blackmagic design. If we come to the Blackmagic design website, they have the ATEM mini switcher, which does not have 2 HDMI outputs. It only has 1. So if I was to output to a venue display, I would lose my multi-view. Blah, 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 blah. It was dumb. So they introduced the ATEM Mini Extreme, which has 2 HDMI outputs. Let's see, where's the ATEM Mini Extreme's back end? The ATEM Mini Extreme has, oh my gosh, like just show me the back of the ATEM Mini Extreme. Has 2 HDMI outputs, so I could use program feed, multi-view, and I could record all of the cameras, all of the HDMI inputs as separate video clips to an external USB drive here, and output to my computer as a webcam feed, essentially, while using the switcher itself over its network jack to actually do the live streaming and encoding of the event. So this is really cool. It has audio input jacks, so I could use the Behringer Flow 8 little digital mixer here to feed into it. So the other night when I was in bed, like trying to, plan out this project, I'm like, they don't make a device big enough for me to actually use for this. And the next morning, they had released the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, and I'm like, prayers answered. Okay, cool, thanks. And I had also been talking about doing some camera upgrades here, because this is a Canon something or other. I like Canon cameras. I have them all over the place. I much prefer their colors to Sony stuff. But then Blackmagic released the new Pocket Cinema 6K Pro with a flip screen, dual XLR inputs. It still works with a tally light. It has a built-in camera control unit for live color grading. So instead of having to like output this camera into a converter that adds a LUT to it to then send it to the video switcher system, I can just control the colors through the software directly through the camera itself. which is fantastic. It's got 2 XLR inputs. You can put 3 batteries in it. So it has an NPF battery in it, and then the battery grip, instead of going up into the battery well, it has like pogo pins on the bottom of the camera, and it adds 2 more batteries. And then you can just plug in your DC power jack, and that'll charge the whole thing. And I'm like, I want this. I want this. It's got a Super 35 size sensor. It's a really nice camera. I really want it. Blackmagic, please sponsor me. I love all of your products. I literally would spend my time in language arts class browsing the Blackmagic website. Yeah, HDR, incredibly high ISO, good dynamic range. And it records to external drives. So you can record to an external SSD, which is sick. So you don't have to buy CFast cards or anything expensive and stupid. Yeah, no, so that's some of the new cool tech stuff that was released that I was super excited and happy about. Yeah, so that's really all I've got for that. So I need to get a new Switch. I have a video idea that I really want to try out. I want to see, can you have too much Wi-Fi? Because, you know, people are talking about like, oh, I don't want to have overlap, yada, yada, yada. At what point do you actually need to worry about it? So my brother's house, I did a video of pimping my brother's Wi-Fi. You can go check that out. It's on my channel. It's one of like the first 5 videos on the channel. So I want to go to his house and deploy every access point I currently have. Now, one of my Flex HD access point died, so that's 2 out of like 20 that I've deployed that have died. So I'm like, okay, not very good. So I submitted an RMA request with Ubiquity to get that replaced. But so I will have 12 access points deployed in a house that's about, I want to say 1,200 square feet. And it's a pretty open floor plan. So like, it's not like the Virginia network job where it's like if you want Wi-Fi in that room, you have to put an access point in that room because they're like 6-inch thick mortar walls. No, this is a fairly open house. I just want to deploy the most overkill Wi-Fi network, but I'm currently using my big PoE switch, and I no longer have a switch with enough PoE to supply power to all of the access points I would need for that video. So I would need to do something like use the flex switches. I was going to have to use the flex switches to help distribute PoE because I can power this switch, and I believe I can power something like 3 other access points off of it. If that was what my testing did, I don't remember. I never need to deploy 3 access points. I typically deploy 2 access points off of these guys. Yeah, so that's my overall idea. But so I got to get a new switch. So I was looking at the Amox switches. Amox got a bad reputation. They make little network switches, and they did a big Instagram campaign a few years back where they were like, hey, we'll send you a switch for free if you write us a review on Amazon. And I took them up on that. I'm like, okay, like, what are you, I don't have to say anything specific, right? And they're like, nope, just tell us what you think. And I'm like, okay. So they sent me a switch. It was a very tiny switch. 5-port gigabit Ethernet switch. I tested it. Did my little review on Amazon. I'm like, it's a switch. It works. It's small. They're like, okay, here you go. No, they gave me a refund, so I got it for free. But I think like that switch is still deployed. I still use it to this day, and that was like 4 years later here. So I then bought a couple of their 5-port PoE switches, just their little basic ones, and I've been using those for years as well. I misplaced one of them that I was going to mount underneath my desk here. But yeah, so I don't know where that switch is. But I have another one that's in my portable network box here. So that's the main switch that's in here. I don't know how well you can see it, but right here, this is the Amox switch. Again, it's a good switch. It's got a pretty big power brick. But I'm just going to need to get more PoE switches, so it's kind of going to be just a fun little testing project of, can you actually have too much Wi-Fi? Is that going to create problems? If so, what types of problems, and when do the problems start coming in? So that's going to be probably one of my next videos. Excuse me, I don't know why I've got the hiccups today, but I'm going to be doing my Wi-Fi 6 testing, and then I'm going to be working on that video. And I'm also going to have a video coming out about all of these cool new Ethernet cables that I've been getting in, because there are very few cables that I actually believe deserve a video to be made about them. Because to me, it's like, great, you put some wires in a casing and call it a day. But when your cable actually makes my life easier, that's just that's honestly what these RA Live cables have done for me. These really nice stage grade cables. So yeah, I really like those. You can plug in yourself. Yeah. So on the Ada Mini Extreme, you can plug in your phone to the USB port with an adapter cable and do bandwidth sharing through it. So you can use your phone essentially to get the internet and tether it to the Ada Mini without requiring Wi-Fi. Diamond, have you seen the Wi-Fi man with it in the UDM Pro beta updates? Look, I got no idea what you're saying. Oh, Willie House in the chat. Yes, you can have too much Wi-Fi. Yes. But I want to see what happens when you do and when you reach that limit. So I think having 12 or 13 access points in a 1,200 square foot house, actually, we're going to be confining it to the living room and the den area. So I believe that would be about half of that size. So in a 600 square foot house or a 600 square foot area, what does 12 access points do? That's gonna be my approach to this project. Diamond, I saw that on my recommended. Okay, so here's kind of a bit of an issue that I've been having. So I really don't like talking bad about people at all. I choose to try and be a happy, positive person. But so I get emails all the time from just other people, like foreign people and stuff, and they're asking me different questions about products and stuff, and it's like, I really want to answer them. I really want to help people, but at the same time, it's like it's not being helpful. I can't understand what you're saying. I don't know what you're trying to ask. So hang on, let me find this. Sorry, I had to send off an email here real quick to a client. Yeah, so in my email all the time, I have people just butchering the English language, and it's, I understand that there's a cultural difference, but at the same time, one of my biggest things is I always want to be, you need to wear a tinfoil hat when you do it. Oh, thanks, Lily. I always try and conform to where I'm going. So I travel a lot going to Finland. Well, it's helpful in Finland because everybody there speaks English pretty much. But yeah, no, so it's like learning to speak Finnish, learning the what's actually appropriate to say to people, what's inappropriate to say, going to Mexico, having, Spanish friends, actually speaking Spanish fluently. It was great. I got called racist the other day, and it's like racist against Mexicans because we have this guy. His name is Jesus. He's from Cuba. He does a lot of work with me and my dad, so helping me build projects whenever I'm building like server rooms for people. He's the contractor I'll bring in for that. He helps around the house here doing stuff, and in exchange for like car repair work that my dad does. He's a great guy. We love him to death. But so somebody on my Snapchat story saw that I was hanging out with Jesus, and they're like, "Man, you're really racist. Like, he's doing work for you guys." It's like, I'm sorry, if I'm racist, then tell me why I took the time to learn Spanish. Like, I mean, I get that there's other types of racism aside from, oh, you don't know the language, you're racist. But no, it's like, I just don't understand people these days. But I got an email that says, to my business email, saying, hi, I like your Ann YouTube video. I want no more Dream Machine, comma. I'm sorry, I just lost like 8 brain cells trying to read that. I don't understand. So for me, it's just kind of one of those. Look, if I'm trying to take the time to learn like your language, your culture and stuff, you're coming in here not showing like the same respect. I don't know. It's one of those things that's like, it's kind of a non-issue, but at the same time I take issue with it. It's one of those. How would I tell my Mexican girlfriend that she never really knew me? I'm sorry, what do we have going on here in the chat? I don't know what to think about this. I am not the person you come to for dating advice. I am not. And I mean, I could tell you how to say that, but if you were to say that to your Mexican girlfriend, she would probably kick your ass. But no me conociste nunca de verdad is how you would say that. So use that information, but I do not take responsibility if you get your ass handed to you for saying that. No me conociste nunca de verdad. And then you just throw the Spanish slang on everything. No me conociste nunca de verdad. If it's a Ubiquity tinfoil hat, it'll be on back order forever. Oh, I love you guys. You guys are funny. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't understand some of these things. It's like Ubiquity, you run a store. How hard is that? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know whether I could do it. So it's, I can't complain about something that I couldn't do better myself. So it's just kind of one of those weird things. But it's like, yeah, I have no idea. Okay. Alright, cool guy Brian. Chill out with that. We don't need to say those types of things. But yeah, sure. No me conociste nunca de verdad. You'll die if you say that, but there you go. Alright guys, so I don't know. I don't really have anything else for you guys today. I'm waiting for the Wi-Fi 6 Lite, but I'm in the UK, so it's on in back order. Yeah, it took them way too long to deliver it to me. They're like, oh, it'll be at your house in tomorrow. So they were gonna try and ship it to me within 22 hours, and it had to make a 19-hour car drive, halfway across the country. And it's like, no, it's not. And then on Saturday, they're like, we have no idea when it's gonna be here. And Sunday, they're like, we don't know anything. Like, we don't even have record of this shipment. And then on Monday, they're like, hey, it's gonna be delivered today. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'll wait till version 7 of that tinfoil hat. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I don't know if there's anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. Otherwise, I have really nothing to say here today. Yeah. Oh, speaking of relationships, cool guy Brian, if that helps, or if you die, either way, drop a like on this video. Yeah. I know a supplier in the UK who has one, yeah. No, so yeah, it's I got no idea. You need internet login to get a signal to it, yeah. Okay, so I was doing some audio stuff up at Puppet Church this weekend, like I do, and I was talking to one of the audio guys, and so, oh gosh, do I tell you this? Screw it, why not? Okay, so female, not a crush, just I'm interested. It's like, I would like to know more. It's like, you see a thumbnail of a YouTube video and you click on it. It's like, yes, I would like to learn more. It's one of those. Yeah. So just as a way to talk to her, she plays violin. And so I pulled up one of my audio projects. I'm like, hey, do you have any idea how to do like software violins? And she's like, no, I got no idea. And one of the band lead was there too, and he's like starting to try and tell me how to do stuff, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm listening to him for like 5 minutes actually tell me how to do what I'm trying to do, but it's like, okay. And then like, girl and like band leader leave, and then just me and the audio dude. I'm like, okay, now for a question that I actually have. How do I make room for vocals and stuff? So because I was working on making room for vocals throughout my violins, so I'm just gonna play you my violins here, and this is how he figured out what was up, like what was going on. I'm gonna turn off the chat that we can kind of see my laptop a little bit. So this is my string section here. So I'm like, okay, how do I make room for vocals? He goes, what are you trying to make room for vocals in? And I played him this. And he's like, what are you talking about? That sounds great. And I just like looked at him. He's just like, why did you ask her if she knew how to do it? And I just kept looking at him. And he's just like, oh, I got you. And I'm like, yeah, you do. All right. Yeah, no, that was awkward and interesting. And yeah, we don't talk about that. Yeah, no, I'm pretty good at doing software instruments. Do you think I should start a whip? Wisp. I was thinking like, now watch me whip, like the dumbass dance move from like 2014. How long have you been in the IT field? Yeah, if you have a reason to start a Wisp, I'm helping guys start one up, and I'm also I might start one in my new neighborhood. Except for the internet there is heavily subsidized because it's technically a rural internet connection, so it's bad internet, but it's like super cheap internet. So, is there a market for anything better? How long have you been in the IT field? Shoot, I've been in the video production field since I was in 5th grade. So that was 10 years ago. And then I got into IT because, well, I've always been into computers and stuff. Like computers, that was like my thing growing up. Knowing tech. But getting into specifically like networking, it was probably about 5 years ago when I got an old Airport Extreme router from Goodwill for $2, and I got a network switch that was a 10100 like nice Linksys business switch, like it's like a 20-year-old switch, but it's still nice, for another $2. So I built my own little like network up here in my room. It was in my closet. Yeah, I built my own little network, and then the AT&T guy came after we switched from Charter to AT&T and did a really bad job installing. This guy was scary. Okay, so this guy that installed my stuff, I had a cable that came up here to my room. It went from the main router up to my room, into my router in my closet, which was behind in a cabinet. Then it went out to my network switch, and then out to my computer. So I was running my own, like I was double natting things, but I was still learning about IT and all that stuff. So I get home, and the AT&T guy had been in there. He switched over our service from Charter to AT&T, and I go upstairs, and there's no network connection to my computer. So I follow my wire back, and my router's missing. My Airport Extreme is missing, and I'm like, what the heck? And I leave my room to ask my mom if she's seen it, and I go back up to my room, and I see it. It's like resting by the door. The AT&T guy dug through my freaking room, rummaged through my closet to find my access point, to unplug it, move it, and did not tell me, did not get anybody's permission to do so. Oh, and my mother was in, her bathroom, like, just like, I don't know, prettying up or doing whatever ladies do in the bathroom aside from peeing. And so she goes, yeah, that guy was creepy. He was like trying to talk to me and like made me feel trapped in the bathroom. The guy went into her bedroom, into then stand in the doorway of her bathroom like this. This is how my mom described it. Like, for a woman, that is incredibly, like, terrifying. That's, oh my gosh. Like, granted, there's nothing I could have done. I was very young at the time. But, like, if that would have happened today, that guy'd be getting an IKEA table leg to the head. So, yeah, that guy was awful. We called and complained about him many times. He sucked. So, yeah, that was terrible. But he also did a really bad job, terminating the cables, and our Wi-Fi was performing horribly. So I said, hey, screw this. I can do better myself. And then I researched Ubiquity stuff. Had no idea that Ubiquity devices required a controller. I thought the controller was just like, the management interface, and that it ran on the access point. So I deployed an access point for my dad down at his shop, like with the controller running on my laptop. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I could remotely control the access point from at home, not realizing that my computer needed to be on the same network as the access point. Very quickly learned about everything there was to know about Ubiquity stuff and realized I'm an idiot. And then researched it even more, started doing a lot more stuff with this, and finally did a Ubiquity deployment at my house. I just deployed one access point, started off small, started off with that single access point, then moved on to having multiple access points, and I had 3 at one point, but now I'm only running 2. I had an APAC Lite downstairs, an APAC Pro on the first floor, and APAC Pro in the attic. Then I ditched the light in the basement, replaced the first floor APAC Pro with the Nano HD, and just kept the access point up in the attic. And yeah, but now I just have 2 APAC Pros because I had to pull the Nano HD for reference in this video, and I have a bunch of APAC Pros. So yeah, that's how I got into IT. And then I figured if I made my internet better, I could probably do this for some other people. And people started paying me to do stuff, and yeah, that's how I got into it. Then there were a couple small businesses. A lot of people everybody in my family essentially has a business. My mom's thing is event planning. My dad's thing is auto repair. Mine is video production and IT. My uncle does graphic design, which is funny. He's a graphic designer and a photographer. But at my brother's wedding, I was doing photography and videography and stuff. They had a dedicated photographer. She sucked. Was always in the way of me and my video guys, just awful to work with. I'm terrible. And honestly, I didn't even like her work. But I took a picture of him at my brother's wedding. Dressed up in a suit, in context, the right time to take a picture of somebody, and he started snapping at me to delete it. And it's okay, screw you. Yeah. I don't know. So that's essentially how I got started in all of this. I've done work for essentially everybody in my family. Then started doing stuff for my neighbors. My neighbors then reached out or were referred me to other people. I've essentially traveled all word of mouth. So my Miller Media domain name barely got any traffic because everybody that knew me just knew me word of mouth. All my stuff that I've done, actually professional stuff, Hollywood level stuff, happened just from knowing people. So that wasn't even through my website or through my email. So my Miller Media domain essentially was useless, and I had been paying for that for 1.5 years and stuff. So it was okay. But now with YouTube, I actually get people emailing me and reaching out to me. Yeah, so that's how I got started. You'll need it. Okay, I think you started as a whip. What do you think of WatchGuard as an alternative to Ubiquity? Have not played around with WatchGuard at all. May I ask how old you are? Yes, I am 19 years old. I have a 1 gig line into my new house as it is a new build out. Everyone here will have super slow internet. Yes, although make sure that you have a business connection and it's a lease line and that you are allowed to sell it. Because if you're selling a residential internet connection, you can get into big trouble, big fines, and they can shut you down. Good deal. You've got some great stories. You've come a long way. I've been in the field for 2 decades myself. Nice. Did you report it? Yes, we absolutely reported that guy for being a creep. I would never do that even if I met a friend doing IT stuff. Yeah. I started getting into Unify from my dad, who did money work for a Unify supplier who gave me free UDM and 4 APAC lights. Do you self-host your website or use a service? I was looking at self-hosting all of my stuff, like use the Synologies like DIY Google Drive and then the storage on it and email and then my website. But I'm like, I'm a video editor. That's like my thing. I do production. I know how to plug in cables. I know how to do some configuration of hardware. And I know how to do video stuff, as you can hopefully tell by the quality of this live stream. Audio is not my forte. That's why my mic's up here. And also I don't hit it as much. But yeah, no. So really when it comes to like coding and programming and all that stuff, I'm not very good at it. Like, so I use Squarespace for my website and I use Google Workspaces for my my email and stuff like that. Once I start bringing more people on for MTS, once that team eventually is going to have to grow for doing jobs, because I've had to turn down quite a bit of work just because of the logistics of me getting there and the time that it would take up of mine. So I'm looking at hiring some people. I would like to move away from Google Workspaces and actually do the DIY Synology stuff. But one, I would have to find a better self-hosting website service because I don't like WordPress. And two, I would need see ya, Diamond. I would also have to have a better internet connection. So that's something to look at when I move into the new house. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now with everything. All right, what else is happening with you guys? Oh, we can close out of some of this stuff. Are you going to go worldwide? Hell no. Do you have any idea what it's like managing a national, like even like a national business, not to mention worldwide? Nah. Nah, I'm a kid that makes videos in his bedroom. Chick-fil-A lemonade, man. That stuff's good. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay, there it is. All right. So I have one last thing before I go. I was playing around with some music stuff, and I was listening to, Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, and then We Are Number One, and I'm like, hey, this could work. Somebody disliked my stream. Screw you. Nah, I'm just kidding. If you don't like it, dislike it. I don't care. Ever had a non-paying customer? Yes. Yes. I shut down their internet and then came back with the police, and they essentially told the lady that she had to let me get my equipment back, and I was able to retrieve all of my stuff. So I was able to get everything situated. I've also had to pull out of jobs because this one lady was being incredibly sexist and screaming at one of my employees. So Caitlin, who used to run my she used to be like the CEO of my Millimedia production company business. She put together the video team to film this lady's event. They were all guys that she put together. And the lady is screaming at me. I had no idea about this event until Caitlin goes, yo, by the way, you're going to be camera operator for this event. And I'm like, great, love being told what to do in my own company. Like, cool, whatever. I don't know. She ran the day-to-day business, so it worked. And this lady came up to me because, my name was on the company. Started, screaming at me that I'm a sexist for only having men or male camera operators and whatever. And I'm like, okay, ma'am, how about you go over there and talk to the female CEO of my company that put together this team of men for this video project. And yeah, she started screaming at Caitlin, and I essentially just pulled everybody back and said, nope, we're going home. Packed up, went home, and we sued her for time wasted. We have that in our contract that we can charge a portion of the overall event fee for our video production stuff if it turns into time wasted, but that's at our discretion. If the event goes bust, gets rained out and stuff, that's nothing anybody control. There's no way we're gonna come back to a client and be like, hey, time wasted, yada yada yada, give us money. No, that's just called being a dick. No, but if you're wasting our time, then yeah, I'm gonna come after you. So yeah, that's what happened with that. Okay, so I was playing around with Bad Guy and We Are Number One, and so I put this together. It's not very good, but I thought it was still pretty funny.
Roses on both my knees for you. Don't say thank you. Oh, please, I do what I want when I'm wanting to. My soul, so cynical. So you're a tough guy, like it really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always a puff guy. I'm the bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy. Yeah. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Duh.
I love making stupid stuff like that. Get Nick's like copyright claim incoming. So I tested this last night. I uploaded every audio source that I play for you guys on here. I play the exact I put the exact audio that I plan on playing in just a black screen YouTube video and upload it to YouTube under a different channel to see if it gets copyright claimed, and it did not. So that's how I know that I can play you Real Love right here. Even though this is my own creation of it, but... And then Bad Guy and stuff. I believe it's because I'm changing the tempo so much. I'm doing a lot of tempo shifting. So, yeah, that shouldn't be getting any claims. The duh makes it, thank you. Yeah, no, so that's just the kind of dumb audio projects I enjoy making with my free time. But I have been... Grandma Hates Tech. Okay, yo, Grandma, you gotta come on the show sometime. That would be funny as can be. I just set up the ability to have guests come into my live stream. So, seriously, if you want to come on the show, I'd love to have you. Send me an email at my my business email address on YouTube. Seriously, that'd be fun. Yeah, oh, go check out Grandma Hates Tech. Beautiful video of a Roomba walking a dog. Might take several days. Oh, I've up like 90% of the time I upload a video and it like immediately gets copyright or content ID claimed. So I'm not worried. I'm really not worried. And if so, this is a live stream. My live streams make like $6. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that stuff. All right, guys, but that's really all I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm gonna have 3 videos that I have planning right now: Wi-Fi 6 testing and comparison against Wi-Fi 5, some cool new cables, and Wi-Fi saturation and too much Wi-Fi. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.